Well, hello there. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
We're not on yet. That was actually me just saying thank you.
I was not ready.
He was not ready. He was ambushed.
Oh, man.
So totally candid and surprised.
Brad, why don't you introduce the show?
Well, maybe this is something that we can tap on during the show.
Maybe. I think we should.
Well, because Kelsey's got something she wants to talk about for fears as well.
Well, I just wanted to address, like, one of the main uses for tapping is to help you through your fears, right? Correct? Am I correct?
That is correct.
So I thought we could use some examples.
All right. As soon as you hear that music, we will be live.
Yay.
Welcome to Vibin It with your hosts, Lynnsey Robinson and Kelsey Aida. Are you ready to make the most of your life, manifesting your inner desires while living a more aligned, inspired life? Start here. Now, here's Kelsey and Lynnsey.
Hey everyone, happy Monday. Lynnsey Robinson here, and welcome to Vibin It. So today we have a very, very special guest. He's going to come talk to us a little bit about EFT and tapping. And so we're going to just kind of get into it, but there's a couple things that we need to kind of address first. But first, Brad, this is Brad Yates, everybody. I'm so excited to have him on. I'm here with Kelsey. So why don't you introduce yourself and kind of tell us a little bit about your work, and then we'll kind of just get into it.
Great. Thanks. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm happy to be here, and I greatly appreciate this opportunity to share this work with folks who might not know about tapping, also known as EFT, which is short for emotional freedom techniques. So this is a process of actually tapping with our fingertips on our face. And if you're new to tapping, I know that might sound a little strange at first. There's a very good reason why we do it. Mm-hmm. So it's originally based on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways called meridians. And when this energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally. And when this energy gets stuck, we don't feel so good. We experience uncomfortable feelings like stress and fear and anger and sadness. And so instead of sticking needles in these key places, as they would do in acupuncture, we're just tapping with our fingertips to balance out that energy and allow ourselves to feel better. And when we feel better, we're able to think more clearly. Because when we go into stress, we go into fight or flight, and our prefrontal cortex, where our rational thinking is, kind of goes offline. So we make choices out of habit, which may not always be the healthiest choices. So we use this tapping to calm the system down, allow ourselves to think more clearly, make better choices, and then we can create the life we want.
Exactly. This is so cool. And you've been doing this for years, like a really, really long time.
Couple of decades now.
Well, and I was just on my Insta stories right before the call, and I was telling, my audience that this is perfect to have you on today, specifically for two reasons. Number one, I didn't know August is EFT month. Is it national or international EFT month?
International EFT tapping month. And this is something brand new that a friend of mine, I was doing a workshop in New York just a month ago, just over a month ago. And this woman was there, and some other EFT friends of mine were there. And she says, I've got this idea. Let's put this together. And suddenly, we had International EFT Tapping Month.
Ooh,
it's so cool. So, and I didn't plan it this way. I reached out to Brad because I was lucky enough to talk to you a couple years ago. You came on one of my events, and it was so much fun. So I was like, I bet he could come on again and teach more people about this. And then I saw that on your website. I was like, no way. It's supposed to be this way. And there are no coincidences. But the other reason is not so fun. And one of the things I wanted to address, because I know we have a lot of listeners in Texas, a lot of listeners in Ohio. We're all, as a country, as probably a globe, coming off a very hard weekend, especially a very hard week and a half. And I don't know a ton about EFT. I'm learning more and more the more I talk to you, actually, and but I do know that it's very, it brings whatever we could kind of equate to just being our own self magic, and it kind of opens and clears and aligns and nourishes in a way that not a lot of stuff can. And of course, I know I've cruised your YouTube channel a few times, and I know that you have a lot of healing EFT tapping demonstrations. Do you call them sessions? Sessions, right?
Yeah, videos, rounds,
Yeah.
all kinds of things.
Tutorials, whatever you want to call it.
Some people call them meditations.
Well, and that's something I want to talk about too. But I definitely want to bring that up. It reminds me of something. But I know that you have a lot of these healing tapping practices on your YouTube channel. So if anybody, you know, wants to go check him out on YouTube, if you haven't already, get ready to get your whole life changed, because that's basically what you do. And I know that we're all kind of wanting this healing and this hope, and just maybe a break from the chaos. And hopefully that's what we can bring you a little bit of today and every week here on High Vibin It. I know me and Kelsey don't guarantee it's going to be a great positive high vibe show every time, but it is going to, as Kelsey so eloquently put it, you know, it doesn't always have to be positive, but it is always going to empower you. So that's just, you know, this is just another way for us to do that. So let's get more positive. But our hearts and our love goes out to everybody that's feeling extra heavy today. Let's clear some of that stuff up.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just in Texas not long ago. Love the folks in Texas. My wife grew up in Dayton, Ohio. So took that news pretty hard.
Yeah. It's enough already. I mean, enough. It's enough. It's not even about opinions anymore. Like, we don't get to have, this is common sense. I'm just, you know.
Well, and not to get political. This is Kelsey, by the way, guys.
But that's the thing, Kelsey. That's the thing. This isn't political. This is a human being.
This is a human issue. But I feel like the issue is, I think a lot of people obviously don't want to have compassion for the people who commit these crimes. But if we did in the first place, I think a lot less of these crimes would occur, because the people who are committing these crimes are hurting and having their own issues, and they don't know how to process their emotions. They don't know how to deal. They don't know how to soothe themselves. They don't know how to connect with other people. And so they go around committing these heinous crimes because that's the only way that they can think that they will feel better or connect with other people or whatever it is. And so I think also, like, my heart goes out to the people that are suffering so much that they think they have to commit those crimes onto other people and like put their heaviness onto a whole community's lives, you know? So if only they had tapping, maybe things would be a little different. They could
awesome point, Kelsey. Thank you. It's happy, healthy people don't do these things.
Yeah. When you're balanced, you don't want to go around killing people.
This is why I have hundreds and hundreds of videos online, is trying to make it easy for folks to get access to something that can help them soothe the pain that they might otherwise take out on other people, including themselves. They take it out on themselves as well.
Oh God. Yeah.
And as we can clear that, you know, that positivity is inside us. I like to talk about Michelangelo's David, because Michelangelo said the masterpiece was already there inside the marble. All I had to chip away what didn't belong to reveal it. And I believe happiness and health and well-being and self-love are all there inside the marble, under this packed on guilt and shame and pain and fear. And as we chip it away, literally tapping it away, we discover that. And, you know, underneath all these people, all of us, there is this masterpiece and this person who wants to do good in the world and wants to share love. But, you know, so whichever side someone's on, in terms of all of the arguments for and against whatever, there's a wonderful person inside who wants the best for everyone.
Yes.
And we have different ideas about that. And as we continue to clear away fear, we will discover what's best for us and others.
Yeah, I totally, like, this is Lynnsey back. In my experience, there's been two major, I guess, arguments or sides, which is stricter gun laws let's, like you said, Kelsey, let's pay attention to those people before it gets to this point. And I am 100% on board with all of that. I mean, I don't think it should be one or the other. But there is definitely what is it called? An epidemic of mental illness that's just getting ignored. Or not even just mental illness, but just emotional trauma. Like,
it's not even that everyone's necessarily sick. It's that like
No.
the emotions are too heavy to process, and that doesn't mean
Exactly.
you're sick. That just means you're human. You don't know how to like navigate life because
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, of course, we're not going to have the answer today. We all think we have a good idea of what the answer should be, but the bottom line is we're just sending out so much love to everybody that's affected, and everyone who feels their heart is heavy. Just, you know, take a break, come join us, and let's feel a little love for a little while, and then, you know, make your own choices after the show. But we're going to be responsible for your mental well-being in this hour, and I could not be more excited to do it with Brad Yates. Now, I wanted to talk to you because you mentioned that they were called meditations. I know for a fact that you actually do use a little bit of visualization and imagery in some of your tapping. Because we talked about it last time, and that's also how I figured out that you have the same training as I do, because we went to the same school, and I'm so excited about that. Yes, HMI. So Brad was a hypnotherapist before he went into EFT. Can we talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, before that, I was an actor. I had traveled the world doing theater. I went to Hollywood to be a movie star. And in the process, I met a woman, fell in love, got married. And with our first child on the way, decided, you know, I should probably have a backup career. So I actually chose hypnotherapy as my backup career. And so I started doing that because I'd always been fascinated with the power of the mind and studied at Hypnosis Motivation Institute. And I was on staff there for a brief while, and then went out on my own. And after doing that for a couple of years, when our second child was on the way, I realized, as much as I loved acting, doing personal development work was really my calling. This was really what I felt I was meant to be doing. So we left Los Angeles, and it was through some other hypnotherapists that I had heard about energy therapy and EFT and got into that. But I still love it so much that in my teleseminars, in most of my private sessions, and in most of my live workshops, I still do a little bit of a hypnosis session.
Which is so great, because it's so versatile. You know, call it what you want, but just a simple visualization can just make whatever you're doing that much more, give that much more depth to whatever piece of or technique or modality that you're using. So I guess where we want to start is what, you know, we talked about what the basics of EFT is and kind of what it can do for you. What are the most common things that people want EFT for? Like, what are your most watched videos, I guess?
Probably the theme that comes up the most for a lot of people is money. Mm-hmm. Because with tapping, we can clear out a lot of the fear that we have about having money. Most folks will say consciously, oh yes, I want a lot of money. I want a lot of money. But their behavior does not say that. They, you know, miss phone calls. They don't do the things they could do. And so I like to say that self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. So when we are sabotaging our finances or our physical health or anything else, it's because our programming tells us it's not safe to have more money, or to be thinner, or to be in a relationship, or whatever else it might be. So while we're consciously thinking, man, I really hate being in debt, I really hate that I don't have more money, my mind may be saying, yes, but remember, money is the root of all evil, and rich people are bad, and, you know, blessed are the poor. So we're going to make sure that we are the good person here. And we're not consciously aware of it. We just find ourselves making mistakes, not doing what's possible. So that just means that we have these limiting beliefs about money. Now, the thing is that when we try to change beliefs, our brain, the amygdala in our brain says, oh, that's a threat. And we have a stress response and we shut down. So when we're doing the tapping, we calm down the stress response and we start to look at things differently and say, oh, you know what? It's not evil to have money. There are people who do bad things with money, but there are people with no money doing bad things. So I could easily say, oh, well, you know, I would do less bad if I wasn't so worried about money. So why don't I be as rich as I can be? You know, we shift our mindset to where we see money is just a tool, and it's fine for me to have plenty of it. health is possible for me. It's okay for me to do it, and I can take care of myself in different ways. So money is a theme that comes up for a lot of folks because most people want more money than they have, even though they're blocking themselves from having the kind of money they could have. That I have a video on fear and anxiety that is one of the more popular ones, because that's where tapping can be so effective so quickly, is when we're having that fear response. And as we tap through the points, calming down that stress response. So it's one of the most tangible areas where we see the speed of the effectiveness of tapping.
So it tends to work relatively quickly when you're doing this.
Very much so. And certainly when it's a feeling that we're having right now. So if we're talking about making more money, it's a little broader. So it's not like, okay, you're going to watch a 5-minute tapping video and the doorbell's going to ring and someone's going to be there with a big package full of. It can happen. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. I'm just not going to promise it. So it's something that's a more gradual thing. But in general, with tapping, at least in the moment, we tend to feel more relaxed. We tend to get that calm sensation that's going on. And sometimes people, if they have an idea of what they're working on and they're not seeing it right away, like, oh, I'm working on money and I didn't, just get a check in the mail right away.
Yeah.
It's not working. And I'll say, but do you feel more relaxed? Because that's where it starts. And as you allow yourself to feel more relaxed, you're going to find yourself having the freedom to take certain actions that allow you to have more money.
That's so funny because, yeah, when people, I should have worded myself better, because when people hear like, oh, it works really fast, they're like, well, I'm not rich yet. I'm not thin yet. I'm not confident yet. When I say work as a hypnotherapist, I'm saying like, do you feel better? Because that's progress. Exactly like really is it progress? How did you feel before and how do you feel after? If it's progress, then absolutely it's working.
Oh, I have a great story about this too that I want to share.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so Brad's going to laugh at this. Well, he's going to be happy. So it was like, I don't know, it was a few months ago and I was going through a breakup and I was like having this day where I thought I was healed, but of course, you know how healing happens in waves. So I had a day where I was like really, really like upset and I needed to like get it out of my body. I was like, I need to purge this like now. And so I was like, okay, what's something that I haven't really been doing during this like whole process? And I was like, okay, tapping. Like I know tapping is a good tool. So I go onto YouTube. I'm searching for like tapping for heartbreak or like tapping for breakups or whatever it was. And then of course, like all the first videos are Brad's videos, obviously. And so I'm going through them and I'm like on the couch by myself. I have YouTube on my TV because I have like a smart TV. So I'm watching Brad on my TV. I'm tapping. I'm like Kim Kardashian, ugly, crying with like Kleenex next to me, like getting it all out, like so sad. But honestly, almost immediately after the tapping, I felt so much lighter. And then the next day, I felt like, wow, I really got a lot out that I needed to release. And now I'm feeling like way lighter.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty recent. So that was kind of, that was a relevant story that I really wanted to share because you guys, you can use tapping for literally like anything.
Try it on everything.
When I told Kelsey, I was like, I bet I want to have Brad Yates on. She goes, oh my gosh, I love him. I used him for my breakup. And I was like, perfect. Perfect. There's those synchronicities coming around. Well, we definitely have so much to talk about. Actually, the subject or the topic, I guess, of our show, what we're going to focus on today is using this amazing technique to allow yourself to bring in or welcome the abundance energy. So again, we're not promising you're going to get $10,000 in the mail or anything.
But we're not promising either.
Actually, yes, absolutely. But we are going to get you to, or hopefully get you to a spot where you can begin to feel better about the idea or be more comfortable with the idea that you kind of deserve it and it's here for you if you want it and all that stuff. So we're going to talk more about that when we come back and get more into the nitty-gritty of how to use EFT for abundance. And we will be right back after the break.
All right, you're clear.
Okay. We had almost 4,000 listeners on the last show.
Oh, really? It was about manifesting love. That's why.
Yeah, that's why.
Money and love.
That's another big topic on
That's
the
always
videos.
the big topics, right?
The love magnet is a fairly popular video.
Now, I didn't think about this, but are you going to be able to explain where these parts, because this is an audio show and Kelsey puts the video up on her YouTube channel after. So are you going to be able to be like, if you're listening along, just this is the spot that you're going to tap or something like that? Are you pretty okay?
Yeah.
I'm sure that you have a lot of practice doing it and like explaining.
I've described it for radio listeners.
Oh, good.
A couple of times.
Just a few million times.
I cannot believe that just occurred to me. Like, oh, we have an audio show and we have a visual person on. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. But the video is going to be shown someplace. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to think I got dolled up for nothing.
No, you definitely got dolled up for the right reasons. Don't worry.
Yeah,
You missed the red lipstick cue though, because
All right,
Lynnsey and I both got lipstick.
You didn't match us today, and we both have very plain shirts on, Kelsey. Yeah. Usually you're
You are listening to Hi Vibin It with Kelsey Aida and Lynnsey Robinson. Check into the show today by calling into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to hi.vibin.it.show@gmail.com. That's hi.vibin.it.show@gmail.com. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, Kelsey Aida here, and we are back with the wonderful Brad Yates talking about everything tapping, also known as EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And today specifically, we'll want to hone in on what can we do to tap our way into allowing and attracting more abundance into our lives, because like Brad was saying before the break, we have a lot of blockages when it comes to money, speaking from a collective standpoint, because of course people tell us that it's the root of all evil and there's all these limiting beliefs and we think it's dirty and whatever. We don't want to be like anything that our subconscious is not on board with, which it's not on board with a lot of things unless you program it to be. So here we are talking about that. And yeah, we're going to do a demo in the third segment. But for now, we're just going to keep going into some questions and back and forth and kind of, I don't know, introduce you guys to the topic more. So maybe can we get into some of the meridians and the actual points on the body? And can you explain kind of which area is for what?
Yeah, certainly. So in traditional acupuncture, the different points are, most of the points that we're using are endpoints for these different meridians. And there are many meridians running up and down the body. And the different points, or the different meridians, tend to correspond with different organs in the body, which tend to correspond to different emotions. Some people are very particular about that. There are some people who disagree about which meridian is associated with which organ or which emotion, which is why with emotional freedom techniques, we just tap these 8 major points. In the original version of tapping, discovered by a psychologist named Dr. Roger Callahan, he would discover which points were most effective for the particular patient's issues. So for anxiety, he would, have them tap 3 different points. For another issue, he would switch to a couple of other different points. And then Gary Craig came along and said, since it doesn't take very long to tap all of the points, why don't we just tap them all in a row and get the same benefits, and maybe tap a point that we would have otherwise left out. So the points that we tap, and when we get into the tapping demonstration, but I'll show folks right now, you tap with your fingertips of your index and middle finger, and you can tap with either hand on either side of the body because the meridians run up and down both sides. But generally we tap with our dominant hand, and the first place we tap is on the side of our left hand, or our other hand. So if you were going to use a karate chop to break some boards, you'd use the edge of your hand right between your wrist and your pinky. And so that's why we call that the karate chop point. So we gently tap there. The next point we'll tap is the beginning of the eyebrow. So right at the beginning, right at the end of your eyebrow, just to basically in the middle of your face, just above your nose. And we gently tap there, and we'll tap points between 5 and 10 times in general, depending on the phrase, because we'll be saying phrases as we go through this. So if it's a longer phrase, we might end up tapping the point 20 times. It's okay. It's not like, the body says, oh, you tapped more than 10 times. Now this won't work. So you'll gently tap the beginning of your eyebrow point. Then you follow your eyebrow to the side of your eye, so the corner of your eye socket, and gently tap there. Again, following the edge of your eye socket to right under the middle of your eye, just above your cheek, and gently tap there. The next point is just under your nose, just above your upper lip. Just gently tap there. Right below your lower lip, just above your chin. Then the next point is the collarbone point. If you feel where your collarbones just about come together, there's a little bit of a U shape at the base of your throat. And you can use all of your fingertips or even just make a fist and tap right where the collarbones just about meet. Next point is the under the arm. It's about 4 inches below your armpit. So that's right about bra strap level. And I'm sure even guys listening to this can figure out where that is.
Do the math, guys. Do the math.
And then finally, the top of the head. So using all of your fingertips, just tapping around the crown of your head.
Mm.
Okay, I have a question.
I hope everyone's doing this at home because we're doing it.
I'm sure they are. I am. But I always have this habit, and I'm sure it's like it's just an automatic thing for me. It's probably subconscious that if I do, like, the harder I do it, the more it's going to work. And I know that's not true. And I do that when I brush
like
my teeth.
hitting yourself
I'm one of those,
on the head.
Yeah. I'm one of those people that really brushes really hard. I don't know if they're related, but they probably are. So can we talk about pressure? Because I have nails, so I'm like trying to stab myself with my fingertips and be careful with doing it.
There's a gentleman who came to a couple of my workshops in LA years ago who's a martial artist, and he would just be whapping on his face. It's like, dude, it doesn't have to be that hard. You want to tap, gently. It's a self-love process.
I feel like it's almost like you want
harder,
to awaken the energy, like wake up, who's home?
You tap hard enough so that you feel it, but not hard enough that you bruise yourself.
That it's all you can feel. Like by the end of a tapping session, I'm like, well, I'm sore, but I hope it worked.
Please don't give yourself a black eye. And people going, who did that? Brad Yates.
You have people at your door. That's awesome. And did we cover all the part? Did we cover them all? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a video called, there's another tapping process called Be Set Free Fast. So I have a video just that says Be Set Free Fast, or BSFF, in which while I'm tapping through the points, I talk about the different emotions generally associated.
That's
like,
cool.
So the first right above the eyebrow is bladder, usually is associated with sadness or trauma. Side of the eye is anger. Under the eye, fear. Under the nose, embarrassment. Under the mouth, shame and guilt. Collarbone is, again, fear. And that's a key point for a lot of folks. There's a lot of times that I'll just tap the collarbone point when I'm experiencing some difficulty and just want to calm myself down, because under all of pretty much all uncomfortable emotions, there's fear. It's been said, there's only two emotions. There's love and there's fear. Whatever doesn't feel like love, there's fear in there.
Yeah, I love it when somebody said it to me a while ago, and I never forgot it. It was hate is not the opposite of love. Fear is the opposite of love. And I was like, holy poop, that's actually true. because it's true. As angry and as hateful as you feel, it's always fear. If you never felt afraid, there's no reason to be mad. There's no reason to hate. There's no reason to be angry. So that's absolutely true. And so once I heard that, I mean, you can't unlearn something like that. It's just, it changes you, it's great. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Love and fear are the two big ones. I'm sure you get a lot of clients for love and fear. Both. When you, like, I know you started doing one-on-one coaching, right? Like you have one-on-one clients.
I do still do some one-on-one coaching. It's not I don't do a lot of it, but I do work with a few people privately. I do a lot of teleseminars where I'm working with people, and I'll work with folks individually on these calls. I'll work with, between 2 and 4 people during a call. Mm-hmm. And then I do live workshops where I, have larger audiences.
So would you say it's 50-50? The power of EFT is half where you're tapping and half what you're saying. Is there a third component to this?
It depends on the person. Yeah. I don't think that it's the same, because I'll get comments on YouTube videos all the time saying, when are people going to realize it's just the words that he's saying? It's not the tapping at all. Now, I was just watching a video earlier today from my friend, Dr. Peter Stapleton down in Australia, who's one of the main researchers in EFT. And they have done studies finding that actually the tapping is actually an active ingredient, because when they compare it with folks saying the exact same words, the ones doing the tapping get better results than the group that doesn't do the tapping. Now, and the wording is going to depend on different folks. So the way that I tap, a lot of people really enjoy the sort of intuitive, free-flowing thought process that I bring to tapping, and the humor that I sometimes bring to it, because to me, it's the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down. That laughter, and some people like it, more cut and dry. You just focus on whatever the issue is, and you don't veer off script. And I think it's just different strokes for different folks. And tapping can be very beneficial, even if you're not saying anything, particularly if you're already feeling an uncomfortable emotion, because the tapping is calming down that stress system. So if you're already feeling stressed, you don't have to be talking about it. You already know, I'm feeling it. You're keen into it. The wording is often to keep us focused on what the issue is, so that we don't just get distracted. We don't just think about something else, but we want to look at what are the things going on behind the fear? Where did I pick up this fear? What exactly am I afraid of? Because what we think we're afraid of might not be what we're really afraid of. And when we're tapping, it's often like peeling the layers of an onion, so that we'll be tapping along and go, oh, wait a minute, it's actually about, okay, now I'm tapping on this, and oh, wait, there's an even deeper level of, this is really reminding me of something that happened when I was 5 years old. And we start to clear away years and years of baggage.
That's something I really appreciate about tapping, because you go all the way there.
Yes.
Like, you don't just be like, oh, I think this is the problem, let's just kind of surface level, like, fix it. It's like, no, you do the Kim Kardashian ugly crying on the couch when you're alone after a breakup, like how I said. Box of tissues in hand, tapping, crying, makeup all over your face. Like, it can be ugly, but it's transformative.
And that's the thing, is that because when we look at these things, it is stressful, it's painful. And so we often stop ourselves. And so the tapping is another way of calming down the stress, calming down the pain, so that we can go deeper into it.
Yeah, so you can handle it.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
I'm always, asking my clients to acknowledge themselves for going places that most people aren't going to go. And so people carry a lot of stuff that they could let go of, but it's too painful to go there. Well, this is a way of mitigating the pain, so that it's, we can go further and clean up more stuff.
Love it.
Wow. That is so cool. And you said something while you were talking about, so you were saying how it really depends on the person, the kind of words that you use and the things that you say, whether you're more humorous or just more cut and dry. First of all, can I just request the real Brad Yates, the humorous one, during the demonstration? Because that's where I'm going to go every time. But that's something that you must have to figure out for the client, or do they tell you? Do you prefer that you kind of use your expertise to recommend what kind of words to use, or do you get all the language from the person?
For me, it's very intuitive. I don't come up with scripts ahead of time. Yeah. I never know. Sometimes I'm not even sure what the opening phrase is going to be. I'll just have an idea of, okay, and I'll be listening to them. But there's also everything's energy. We're all connected. Carl Jung called the collective unconscious. So when I start tapping, it just comes through me, and I don't try to manipulate it. There are certain key phrases or certain analogies that I will use because I found them to be effective. So I'll repeat, I'll say, I'll use a certain metaphor a number of times, but most of it is just coming up in that moment. And there have been a number of times where I'll just have an idea for an analogy, and I'll say, it's kind of like this, and we're tapping through the points, and I'll go through it, and they'll say, yeah, that's something that actually happened to me. And it's like, oh, well, go figure, because we're co-creating it.
Yes.
Yeah. And in that moment, you're a channel for whatever that person needs to hear. So you just open yourself up as the vessel and then just let it come through.
It's happened to me so many times in hypnosis, like doing hypnotherapy with people. And I used to, when I started out, tell me if you felt like this, Brad, but when I started out, I like run late and then I wouldn't have prepared and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to go terrible. I haven't prepared anything to say, or what am I going to do? Those were my best sessions because I didn't have anything prepared. And it just kind of, I allowed the channel to open and just kind of say what they needed. And those moments where they're like, why did you say that? That just happened to me yesterday. Or, this color is meaningful to me for this reason. And you said this, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figure source knows better than I do.
Yeah, exactly.
New life motto, source knows better. Just go with that.
If you take nothing away from the show, that's what you should take away because it always knows. It always knows.
So for me, it's in the process of tapping, I'm clearing my my resistance to being an open channel.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I'm much more intuitive, much more creative, much more improvisational.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not worried about that. And that's when the ideas come up and things come out and things will come out. I'll go, wow, that was brilliant. I wish I'd thought of it.
I always do that. When I'm writing blog posts, I'll say something like so wise and amazing. I'm like, how are you only 25? Like, what is going on? And then I'm like, oh, I just channeled it. It's not for me. It's just for the universe. It's fine.
Oh, goodness. You kind of take the credit, but you're also kind of like.
Well, you have to take the credit because to a degree you are source. So like it's your perspective from one perspective, but also it's coming through you, not from you at the same time simultaneously. So it's like.
Really cool. So we are getting ready to do our demonstration. I know that you said that you're very well versed in kind of, and I know as you go through the tapping, you remind people, okay, under the eye, under the nose.
Yeah, I'll mention all the points.
You mention all the points as we're going through. You must get a ton of fan mail and like, oh my God, this changed my life. What's one thing that sticks out? Like somebody was like, thanks to you, I fill in the blank.
Oh, I mean, I'm blessed that I actually do get comments on YouTube every day saying, "Oh, God bless you, you saved my life." The best was I was actually doing a workshop. I can't remember where it was now, but someone came up with a family member, and they said, "You saved my life." No, I mean, like, really saved my life. And their family member came and says, "Yes, like, really." And that's where it's like breaking down and
it's got to be so humbling.
It's just it is, and and it's great because I know it comes through me. It's through me, not by me.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said, well, you have all these fans. Does it go to your head? It's like, I'm a guy who taps on his face for a living. That's kind of humbling. It's kind of hard to go, hey, I'm all that in a bag of chips. I watch YouTube tapping on my face. But I'm very blessed that what comes through me is so beneficial for a lot of folks. And I just am very grateful that I get to do that.
Yeah. And I have no doubt there are people listening to the show right now that know you and are like, Brad did this for me. And I know they tell their friends. And I know people. I mean, we're talking to a person on the show today who's used your videos to heal during a breakup. So it's like, you are all that in a bag of chips.
We better cut to a break.
But on that note, it's actually the perfect time. Because when we come back, Brad's going to show you how to use this very same technique that millions and millions of people can verify works for them to help you allow abundance. So we'll be right back after the break and bring in some abundance. See you in a sec.
All right, you're clear.
Thank you.
All right, now that we've set expectations really high.
Really high.
Don't fuck up.
That's funny. Those are the words right over my desk.
Perfect.
DFU.
That's funny.
So funny.
Yeah,
That's really
I
cool.
usually
That's
say
my
more
personal
bad
mantra.
words per episode.
What's that?
But
Hold on.
I haven't said any.
Hold on. What's that?
Oh, I said that was my personal mantra.
Okay.
Don't fuck up. Exactly.
Don't fuck up.
That's what I have my staff say when I'm doing a live workshop, just before I introduce myself. Time to go. Hey, Brad.
So motivational. I like that we talked about channeling a little bit. I think people will think that's cool. They're going to be like, oh, I've done that before.
Yeah, everybody.
Oh, that happens to me. Well,
So
everyone is a channel for something.
those experiences.
All creativity to me is
Yeah, it's so true.
I avoid using that word only because it brings up
People get
images
triggered
of
by that
Abraham
word.
Hicks or you know, Seth or these other things, and nothing about it. Those are, you know, I love the work of Abraham Hicks.
Yeah.
But for some people, it's a little too
They have
out
opinions
there.
on it. Yeah, exactly. They're not there quite yet.
Yeah. So if I sit there and say, I'm just going to sit here and suddenly something's going to come through me and tell me.
I'm just going to be possessed for 5 minutes, guys. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I think that's one of the things that has helped me.
All right, we're coming back.
Gain a following is that I'm not too woo-woo.
Yeah.
You are listening to High Vibin' It with Kelsey Aida and Lynnsey Robinson. Check into the show today by calling into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to hi.vibin.it.show@gmail.com. Now, back to the show.
Hello, it's Kelsey Aida here, and we are back with our third and final segment, and we're super excited because Mr. Brad said he would help us through a whole mini abundance tapping session. So wherever you're listening to this, I mean, obviously if you're driving, probably not the best time to be tapping. But
that you would say, like, before you do this, is there anything that people should know before they start tapping on themselves?
Well, I always ask that folks take full responsibility for their own well-being, because we are dealing with emotions. And so there's always the possibility that, as I said, it's like peeling layers of the onion. So if you have something really heavy that's gone on in your life and you're just barely holding it together and are on the verge of some ugly crying, you know, and that's okay. You may want to do that. But, you know, as we're going to be uncovering stuff, and I'm going to go in a pretty general way. I'm not going to be saying, so let's look at your deep childhood trauma. But that stuff can, depending on who's listening. I'm not aware of this ever happening during an interview. I've never had anyone write to me afterwards and say, hey, that was really upsetting. But I don't know who's listening. And so if you know that you are really, you know, holding it together, then tapping on your own at the moment may not be what you want to do. So, because you need to take responsibility, because I won't know what's going on for different folks.
Yeah, you might want a facilitator in that sense.
Yeah, we have apps that this will be available tomorrow, so you can re-listen. I had to do that for one of my hypnosis journeys. Some people listen the day after. That's totally fine. It'll be on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, all that stuff. So wait if you have to wait. Otherwise, get ready, because we're about to do some amazing tapping for abundance.
You're going to tap your socks off.
Thank you for setting the expectations.
Has that ever happened?
It's going to be okay. You know, I think it'll be all right.
Well, you live up to your reputation, so
nothing else, it'll be relaxing.
Yeah.
My hope is that you'll feel better afterwards. So what I'd like folks to do is go ahead and close your eyes. Again, not if you're driving. Take a deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. Now, just breathing comfortably with your eyes closed, go ahead and feel yourself connected, whether it's your feet on the floor, your butt in the chair, whatever part of you is connected to something. Allow yourself to feel that connection. Allow yourself to feel centered and grounded. Allowing yourself to be right here, right now, as present as possible, so as to receive maximum benefit from what we're about to do. And just following your breath through your body, just allowing yourself to be aware of how you're feeling right now, how you're feeling physically, how you're feeling emotionally. And notice how you feel when I say the word abundance. And that might mean different things for different folks. You may be thinking of financial abundance. You might be thinking about where you're at with your money situation. Could be an abundance of love, an abundance of health. Ultimately, everything's energy, so abundance is abundance, but we have different ideas that block us from different kinds of abundance. So imagine yourself having the abundance you'd like to have, and noticing what you're feeling, say, it's okay for me to have this. Just let that roll around and On a scale of 0 to 10, how true does it feel that it's okay? Say, it's safe for me to have this. And then say, I deserve to have this. And just allow yourself to be aware of whatever objections might come up, whatever voices or thoughts or beliefs or memories might come up as to why you couldn't or shouldn't have more. Why it's not okay, safe, why you're not deserving of it. Just allow yourself to be aware of those objections. Take another deep breath. Let it go. Open your eyes and go ahead and start tapping on the side of your hand. And I see that Lynnsey's muted. So Kelsey, if you'll be my echo voice so that I'll know.
Oh, yeah.
Just make it easier for me to know how long to wait between phrases.
Okay.
So tap gently on the side of the hand. Even though I resist abundance.
Even though I resist abundance.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I resist abundance.
Even though I resist abundance.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
Even though I resist greater abundance.
Even though I resist greater abundance.
Even though I might say I don't.
Even though I might say I don't.
But if it's not showing up.
But if it's not showing up.
It's probably because I'm resisting it.
It's probably because I'm resisting it.
Not because I'm bad or stupid.
Not because I'm bad or stupid.
But because part of me says.
But because part of me says.
There's reasons why I shouldn't have more.
There's reasons why I shouldn't have more.
And even though I'm resisting abundance.
And even though I'm resisting abundance.
I choose to deeply and completely.
I choose to deeply and completely.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else involved in this.
And maybe anyone else involved in this.
Tap in the eyebrow point. All this resistance to abundance.
All this resistance to abundance.
Side of the eye. All this resistance to abundance.
All this resistance to abundance.
Onto the eye. Because the extent to which I'm not experiencing something.
Because the extent to which I'm not experiencing something.
Onto the nose. Tends to be the extent to which I'm resisting it.
Tends to be the extent to which I'm resisting it.
Onto the mouth. And part of me resists that idea.
And part of me resists that idea.
Collarbone. I'm not resisting abundance.
I'm not resisting abundance.
Onto the arm. It's resisting me.
It's resisting me.
Top of the head. Other people are keeping it away from me.
Other people are keeping it away from me.
Eyebrow point. I'm here with open arms.
I'm here with open arms.
Side of the eye. Totally welcoming abundance.
Totally welcoming abundance.
Onto the eye. Whenever it wants to show up.
Whenever it wants to show up.
Onto the nose. It's just being stubborn.
It's just being stubborn.
Onto the mouth. It has nothing to do with me.
It's got nothing to do with me.
Collarbone. And if that's the case.
And if that's the case.
On the arm. I'm pretty much stuck.
I'm pretty much stuck.
Top of the head. And I choose to think differently.
And I choose to think differently.
Eyebrow point. I'm open to the possibility.
I'm open to the possibility.
Side of the eye. That I might play a role in how much abundance I experience.
That I might play a role in how much abundance I experience.
Onto the eye. And I could possibly have more.
And I could possibly have more.
Onto the nose. If I cleared some resistance.
If I cleared some resistance.
Onto the mouth. And I'm not bad or stupid for having resistance.
And I'm not bad or stupid for having resistance.
Collarbone. Self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love.
Self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love.
Onto the arm. So all those things I do that block abundance.
So all those things I do that block abundance.
Top of the head. That's part of me trying to take care of me.
That's part of me trying to take care of me.
Eyebrow point. Trying to save me from the dangers of abundance.
Trying to save me from the dangers of abundance.
Side of the eye. Why do I think abundance is so dangerous?
Why do I think abundance is so dangerous?
Onto the eye. Well, maybe it'll make me a bad person.
Well, maybe it'll make me a bad person.
Onto the nose. Or my friends will be jealous.
Or my friends will be jealous.
Onto the mouth. Or my family will want to take it all.
Or my family will want to take it all.
Collarbone. Life will get really difficult.
Life will get really difficult.
Onto the arm. It's so much easier staying where I'm at.
It's so much easier staying where I'm at.
Top of the head. And I love and appreciate those parts of me.
And I love and appreciate those parts of me.
Eyebrow point. That are just trying to protect me.
That are just trying to protect me.
Side eye. Trying to protect me from the dangers of abundance.
trying to protect me from the dangers of abundance.
Onto the eye. And I'm allowing myself to change my mind.
And I'm allowing myself to change my mind.
Onto the nose. I can handle greater abundance.
I can handle greater abundance.
Onto the mouth. And I'm worthy and deserving of it.
And I'm worthy and deserving of it.
Collarbone. So I'm clearing any doubts about that.
So I'm clearing any doubts about that.
Onto the arm. I can go out at night and see as many stars as anyone else.
I can go out at night and see as many stars as anyone else.
Top of it. I can go to the beach and see the same ocean.
I can go to the beach and see the same ocean.
Eyebrow point. As far as the universe is concerned.
As far as the universe is concerned.
Side eye. I'm just as deserving as anyone else.
I'm just as deserving as anyone else.
Onto the eye. So I'm clearing any doubts about that.
So I'm clearing any doubts about that.
Onto those. Clearing all this resistance.
Clearing all this resistance.
Onto the mouth. Abundance is there for me too.
Abundance is there for me too.
Collarbone. And I am saying yes to it.
And I am saying yes to it.
Onto the arm. Because I can handle it.
Because I can handle it.
Top of head. I am allowing more and more abundance in body, mind, and spirit.
I am allowing more and more abundance in body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. And go ahead and close your eyes again. And again, go ahead and imagine the abundance that you'd like to have. And again, say, I can have this. It's okay. It's safe. I deserve it. And just notice how you feel physically and how you feel emotionally. And hopefully that feels much more comfortable. You feel more open to it. It's also possible you, during the tapping round, as I said, peeling the layers of the onion, you might have different ideas that may have come up of, oh my goodness, I totally remember this time when I was 5 and my parents were fighting about money and I realized money was always the cause of pain. And so then you can say, oh, great, even though I think money is the cause of pain, and tap and clear that. So hopefully you're feeling more relaxed. Hopefully you're feeling much more open and worthy of abundance and much more okay about it. And also maybe just more aware of where those blocks might be.
Yeah, I feel great.
My heart felt more open as we were going through it. And I did realize something limiting belief that I had that I didn't know was there before. So
there
you go.
Cool.
It works. No, this is very, very, and it really does. It works almost immediately. There's a reason people swear by this and swear by you. You're fantastic. I could talk you up all day, but why don't we tell people where they can find you and what kind of stuff you can offer them. I know you have a freebie too, so let's talk about that.
Yeah. So Tapping into Abundance is an hour-long recording of me taking a few folks through this process. So as you tap along while listening, either you're going to listen to it and say, wow, that's exactly what's going on for me. This is so great that I'm tapping on this and clearing it out. Or you may say, wow, that doesn't sound like what I'm up to. This doesn't really resonate. But as you go through and tap along through the process, you're still going to be clearing out your own stuff. So you'll get benefit whether or not the wording seems to resonate or not. So
awesome.
Good. So
and there's guided imagery at the end of that one too. So
love that guided imagery. So we have the link in the description of the show. Go check out Brad. He's fantastic. I really, really can't say enough good things about you. Not only are you so professional and so good at what you do, but you're just such a nice guy. He's so nice. He's so fun to talk to. So thank you. Thank you once again for being here. And what's one piece of advice you could give someone today watching the show?
Well, the obvious one is tap. I recommend tapping on a daily basis because to me, it's energy hygiene. Mm-hmm. We have physical hygiene, like taking a shower, brushing our teeth. We generally just do that on a daily basis to stop ourselves from getting too filthy, rather than waiting until people are holding their noses around us and saying, oh, now I should probably clean myself. But stress is building up all the time as well. And so rather than waiting until the point that it has you do some horrible thing, allow yourself to tap on a daily basis so that you are cleaning that stuff out, feeling as good as possible. You know, underneath all that stuff is love. Keep uncovering that love, and then love is all you have to share. And loving yourself, most importantly, because when you treat yourself with love, when you acknowledge you're worthy of love, that's all you have to share with others. So please do that.
I love it. It doesn't get better than that.
Yay,
well, thank you
for being
everyone.
Here.
Yeah, and
thanks
everyone for
me.
connecting with us today. And, you know, bring in some good vibes because we all need it right now. And Brad is a great way to do that. Whatever it means to you to get better mental, emotional, physical health, do it. Yeah. And I guess we'll see you next week. So thanks for joining us, Brad, once again. Thank you. Thank you. And have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
All right. Great job, everybody. You're clear.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Yay. I need a little like, woo, one of those things that makes noise at the party. The New Year's thing. I feel like having one of those at the end of every episode.